Hello friends, it's Miss Lisa here with One Tree Love. Got some friends with us today, Mr. Turtle, and we've got Miss Rabbit, and you. And so I'm so glad that you're here. We have a yoga adventure today that's all around spring. And while you're getting ready and you're grabbing some of your friends to join us, maybe you want to grab a little towel that we could use today. And perhaps you might want to grab a pillow or a cushion, something off your bed or your couch. Or maybe, I don't have one, but maybe you do. And I would love to see it in the comments below. You have one of those like giant stuffed animals that would make like a really good cushion. Something that you can snuggle up with. So, love to see it. Love for you to grab it. And we're going to hop onto the mat. Because today, we're going to experience some ways to play and to calm us. Now, have you noticed that there's been some thunderstorms or some other kind of storms? There might even been some snow around. Well, that's what happens. We get all kinds of weather, especially in spring, as we're transitioning from what season? Yep, you got it. From winter to what season? You know it, summer. Well, spring is my favorite time of the year. All the changes that happen. So, what happens though? Sometimes I'm like, it's so beautiful. I want it to be beautiful every day. Or some days you feel like you want it to rain so that you can get all snuggly with those animal friends of yours. Well, that's what happens in life. One day you get one thing, one day you get the next. And you might not always get what you want. So, our practice of yoga helps us with that. It helps us to weather any storm, to calm our mind when we get all upset and we get all wind blown around. And it helps us to have a little fun, even when maybe we've got to make it up. So, one thing we're going to do to start us is to notice your breath. I have here my breathing ball, and as I breathe in, just like the ball, my belly gets bigger. And as I breathe out, my belly gets smaller. I want you to think about this as a way to get us tuned in to what's happening. Notice if there's a storm going on outside, or there's a storm going on, maybe your belly's feeling a little upset, or maybe you've got a headache, maybe you're feeling really super excited to do a yoga adventure with Miss Lisa. Just take this few more breaths to notice yourself breathing. Notice what's going on for you. Great job. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to think of like a little seed. Now, have you seen a seed? Maybe you've been helping plant a garden. We're going to get ourselves like a seed. And you can maybe even think of like our turtle friends here. I want you to think about getting all snuggled up into a shell. Your knees can be together, or maybe you want to take your knees a little bit further apart. And we're going to get snuggled down into the earth. Now I want you to imagine that you're a seed and you're starting to wiggle and you're starting to get yourself all into that soil. Right? So wiggle down into the earth. Take a nice breath here and a breath out. You can take your arms all the way long in front of you. Take a nice big stretch and then begin like you're like this turtle coming out of your shell here and kind of snuggle your arms or wiggle your arms over to one side. Maybe your turtle can do this. If you can, I'd love to see a photo of that. Take a big breath here as we stretch our side of our body, getting ourselves ready to grow. Come back to center and then over to the other side with both hands. Keep feeling the back of your back here like your turtle shell, really solid. And it gets bigger when you breathe in, and it gets smaller when you breathe out. Great job. Come back to center. The next pose we're going to do is our rabbit pose. I'm going to turn, but you can stay just where you are. And in our rabbit pose, I want you to see if you can softly lower the top of your head down. You don't have to press all the way down. Use your arms to keep your head nice and softly on the earth. And then roll your head so your your chin comes towards your heart. Look down to your toes and then rock back. So we're rocking the top of our head on the ground here. And then you can come to a little bit of stillness. And this is our rabbit pose. So from our rabbit pose, begin to start to unwind yourself. Maybe you've been out in nature and you see these like beautiful ferns. They start to unravel. So you do you and play a little and unravel till you can come to your knees. And then we'll sit down on our feet, uncurl your toes, so the tops of your toes are down. And this pose here, tall spine, is called a thunderbolt. So maybe you've seen some thunderbolts in the sky. Take a big breath in, reach your arms up over your head, and then exhale your hands by your side. Stay just where you are and move those hands up on the inhale and down on the exhale. And I'm going to turn and face you a different way because I want you to now take your hands and bring your palms together. Fingers turn long. And then can you separate your fingers, make a little space, and then move them so they're weaved together. And then flip your palms to face me. And then we'll bring our palms up to the sky. Beautiful job here. How are you doing sitting in this thunderbolt? If this doesn't feel okay to sit like that, you can come down and crisscross your legs. That's totally cool. Miss Lisa likes when you do what makes your body feel really good. Now, as you reach up long, I want you to move to one side. Now, what happens after a thunderstorm? When the sun comes out, inhale back up, over to the other side. I know, I threw a question in here for you as you're doing your yoga. Inhale back up, exhale, hands down. So what comes out in the sky after a thunderstorm and when we have some sun? Yep, you guessed it, a rainbow. Did you feel like a little bit of a rainbow when you were here? Well, let's try to find it a different way. Let's come back to our knees. Take one leg out long and come up, hands to your hips. So this pose, I want you to feel that you've got your hip and your knee creating a straight line, and your hip, your knee, and your ankle creating another straight line. Do you see those straight lines? I wish I could see yours, so love to see a photo of you in the comments below later. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Can you take your fingers like we just did before, weave them together, palms up? Can you exhale over to your straight leg? You can keep your arms like this, or do you remember our towel? You can take your towel and you can hold on to your towel. Inhale, come back up. Beautiful. Exhale, over. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, over. Inhale, back up. Beautiful job. Bring your knees back in, bring your arms down, and then give those arms a good shake and shimmy. What did you notice as we were doing that? What was getting stronger? What is helping you to weather these storms, these poses? You guessed it, your core, your belly, getting nice and strong. So let's feel that on the second side. Remember, we're creating straight lines here. You can continue to use your towel, or you can continue to weave your hands, whichever you prefer. Inhale, draw up with the arms. Exhale over to your straight leg. Inhale back up. Use those strong belly muscles. And then exhale over. You guessed it, one more time. Inhale back up. Exhale over. Great job, friends. Come back up. Go ahead and release your towel. Bring your knees back in. And then we're going to find a little bit of a thunderstorm around here. Now, take the tops of your toes down and do a little tap. You can stay up or bring your hands down and create a little thunderstorm. Quiet thunderstorm. Maybe it's a loud thunderstorm. And then maybe just like that, it stops. Beautiful job. Find back into that C-tape pose, or maybe your rabbit pose at the top of your head down. And then come back up to your hands and knees, and we'll do that 2 more times. So exhale back to your seed pose. Come up to your rabbit pose, and then all the way back up to table. Or you can think of this like a turtle. So lower to our seed, come up to our rabbit, and then up to our turtle. Beautiful job. From here with your hands and your knees on the ground, can you take one, I'm going to say turning this way. Take one leg and send it long behind you. This is called sunburst pose. You can let one arm come up if you'd like for a little challenge, or keep both hands down. And then extend that leg long, hug it into your chest. 2 more times, leg goes long, maybe your other arm reaches, and then knee back in. One more time, extend, and then hug the knee in towards your chest. Great job. Whew, sit back into your seat. Take a moment here, snuggle into the earth. Notice what is going on with your body. Maybe your heart is beating faster. See if you can take a big breath in. A nice, slow, sweet breath out. You can imagine like you're blowing on a dandelion, all those little pieces that you can blow around the seeds. And feel that breath when you come out, like you're blowing those seeds, spreading them with your wind breath. Great job. Come back up. We've got another side to do. So as we explore this sunburst, this is like the sun is starting to help us grow. You can keep one leg long. Maybe you want to have that arm reach. And then bring the hand back down. The knee hugs in. Inhale long. Exhale, hug the knee in. One more time. Extend it long. And then hug the knee in. Great job. Let's take that seed pose, or maybe you want that rabbit pose again with the top of your head down. And then find that breath. In breath, nice and sweet. Exhale like you're blowing some seeds around. 2 more breaths. And then coming up to kneeling. So we've got our soil to help us grow things in the springtime, right? We've got some sun shining, we've got storms, and we've got our rainbows after those because of the sun. Now, I want you to think about, we need this rain to help all of our plants grow. So let's find a little rainfall. So let your feet find the earth, soft bend to your knees, and then just like we did in rabbit where our head came down to the ground, it's not going to touch the ground, but let it dangle down. Let your arms dangle down here. So you can imagine, wiggle your fingers like you are some rain coming down into the earth. Then you can come up halfway, bring your arms up. And then lower the arms down, letting that rain shower down. 2 more times. Inhale, bring those arms up. And then exhale, rain it down. Beautiful job. Again, bring those arms up. And then let that rain come down into the soil. And then let's pause here. Take a moment to bend your knees and straighten. Notice if you like it better when the knees are bent or the legs are straight. Take 2 more breaths here. Beautiful. Another breath. So we got our earth, we got our soil, we got our sun, we got our rain. Now let's root those feet into the earth and rise on up. Both hands sweep to the sky. And then bring those arms back down to your side. Great job. So now we've made it to standing. So can you come to the tips of your toes? Can you reach those arms up? And then feet back down. Reaching to the tips of your toes, reach those arms up. And then plant your feet back down. One more time. Reach up to the tips of your toes. Keep those arms reaching. And then exhale, lower your heels, lower your hands. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to find tree pose. So in tree pose, let one leg be long, the other leg, let it find a bend in the knee, Find those toes on the ground to start and your heel on your ankle. Let's bring our hands to our heart. So hands pressed into one another, helping us to find our middle line here that will help us find some balance. You know what else will help? Yep. You might have heard it called a focal point or a drishti. It's something to look at that isn't moving, that can help us stay strong and tall here. Maybe your tree gets a little taller. Maybe your tree starts to have branches and flowers blossoming everywhere. Maybe your tree's got a fun, funky shape. So find your tree pose that you would like to be, and oh, maybe a windstorm comes our way. And what happens? The tree, maybe it moves with the wind and it comes back. Or maybe it comes into a new shape. So take some time here to play in your tree pose, with your thunderstorm, with your wind, with your blossoms. So let the sun shine down on you. Let yourself root here and rise up to that sun, get taller and stronger, staying connected to that core, and then come back down. Maybe tips of the toes and lowering or roll your ankles. Maybe you heard some crackles and pops as you did that. We want to do that other side. So find your tree. Start it small. Toes to the ground, hands to the heart. Find your focal point, your drishti, somewhere to look at that isn't moving to help you find some rootedness. Maybe you grow a little bit taller. Maybe your branches and your flowers start to blossom and bloom. And then perhaps that wind comes, and that wind helps you to take new shapes. It helps your pollen to spread around, creating all kinds of goodness, like bees, butterflies, to be able to use that pollen. Perhaps that spreads the seeds. And then come back down to both feet on the ground. Take some time to notice how strong you are, how you can be kind of shaken up a little bit by the weather or some situation, but you can come back to your strong self. So we have a few more poses I want us to explore. If you come down to a comfortable seat, I want you to sit in a way that's super comfortable for you. You can be back to this thunderbolt pose, or maybe it's the crisscross pose if you like that. If you'd like to sit up on a cushion, you can do that too. And I want us to pause here before we do another yoga pose, and I want us to explore a breath. Now, we've talked a lot about our seeds and our plants growing and getting what they need, like soil and sunlight and water, and even it needs the winds to carry those seeds. You may have heard me also talk about bees. Bees are super important to us, and I encourage you to do a little bit of research, maybe with the help of a friend, to find out just why bees are so important. What I'm going to encourage us to do is to take a moment to pause here and to find bee breath. So for bee breath, I'm going to ask you in just a moment to kind of put your fingers kind of covering the little flap that is in front of your ear. So if you look here, we've got this little piece of cartilage in front of our ear drum or ear canal, and I want you to press that piece just gently. And you might notice if you do it on one ear, it gets a little bit louder. We're going to eventually do that to both of our ears. But what we're going to do is we're going to take our breath in like normal, and when we breathe out, I want you to make a sound like a bee. And as you do this with your fingers here, it's going to get loud. I'm going to ask that you do this 2 times and then come back to me with your fingers back onto your knees. Are you ready for bee breath? Great. So let's take a breath in. Breath out with a B sound. When you're done, join me back with hands on your knees. If you're sitting on a cushion, come off of that cushion, but keep the cushion handy. We're going to take our feet. We're going to take our bottoms of our feet, the soles of our feet, to come together. You can even give them a little clap. Maybe it's another sound of our thunderstorm here, our rain. Maybe it's a soft little rain now. Great job. Bring yourself into a posture that you're sitting as tall as you can with the soles of your feet together and creating a shape here. What shape is this? From our tips of our toes to our knees to our hips, you guessed it, we're creating a diamond shape. So if you've got that cushion, I'm going to invite you to bring that cushion in. If you've got your friends, maybe they're bigger than mine, and we're going to see if we can come down and snuggle them. So this pose is like a butterfly pose. So butterflies also pollinate a lot of our plants. So as you inhale, get tall. As you exhale, fold down and then snuggle our pillow, our friends here. And I'm going to invite you to stay here for 3 more breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more time, let your breath come in and let your breath go out. And then slowly come back up. You can set your cushion and your friends aside. And then this time we're going to take our hands underneath our knees. If you can keep your soles of your feet together, you can do that. Do you know what pose we're in? This pose is called flower pose. You can stay here, lower, or maybe you want to come up and lift your feet, and you can imagine that these are your petals of your flower. Beautiful. See if you can stay here on your seat. Let your back be nice and straight. And then come back down. Let your feet get a little bit longer and wider. And then let your hands also get a little bit longer. And then see if you can tuck your chin down towards your chest. Fold a little bit deeper now. Do you know what pose this is? Yep. It's turtle pose. So as you come into your shell here, I want you to bring your hands back in. Bring yourself back to a seed. Hug your knees in. And then we're going to roll down onto our back. You can bring your friends with you. And then bring your friends onto your belly. Let your legs be long. And then notice if we hug our knees in. Can you keep your friends there onto your belly and let your knees come so that they're hugging your friends, and then give them a little space, let your knees go away. And 2 more times, hug your knees in. Don't squeeze your friends, so just gentle hug in of your knees and then let those knees go away. 1 more time, knees squeeze a little in and then open the legs up to the sky. Take a look at your toes. They're like little flowers expanding there with all your petals. Can you notice how many petals do you have if your feet were your flowers? Great job. And then I invite you to move around a little, get a little wiggly, get a little snuggled into the ground. Maybe you want to keep your knees bent. Maybe you want to take your legs long. We're going to rest here for a little bit with our friends. We've got our turtle friend, or at least I do. I got my turtle friend and my rabbit friend. And as you're here with your friends, notice how they're just kind of riding on your breath. As your belly gets bigger, they float up. And as you breathe out, they settle down. And notice those friends riding on our belly, on our breath. Just as we ride the storms that come and go, the changes of weather, changes of situations from one day to the next. We find a way to play, to be curious and adventurous as we experience all these different weathers, different things to notice as we're outside, different things to notice about us and the inside of us. So I invite you to come into yourself here, to get still, to get settled into the ground. And I want you to think of something that you may have found in the ground, something that gets buried in the ground, that roots down into the ground. Maybe you've helped plant something. Maybe you've seen a worm that's in the ground, some other kind of bug. Maybe you have a turtle and you've seen it snuggle underneath the rocks. Or maybe you've even seen a rabbit squeeze underneath a fence. Maybe some other kind of animal that you've seen it buried into a hole. Think about something that has snuggled into the ground. And as you snuggle here into the ground, feel your back on the earth. And then I want you to think about the sky, that sun that we explored, the rainbows that we talked about, those bees and the butterflies flying around us, those flowers and trees coming up from the earth. And think about all of the things that you have seen that have come up from the earth, and they grow bigger and taller and stronger. They fly around the sky. I want you to think of all those things, drawing us upwards. Feel the top of your body, your belly and your chest, your heart. Feel them all rise up when you breathe in. And then come back to feeling all of your whole body. What it feels like from the tips of your toes to your nose to the top of your head. Can you wiggle those fingertips and your toes? Can you let your head go side to side? And then bend your knees and let your knees go side to side. And maybe your friends, maybe they go for a ride and their adventure means that they fall off from on one side or the other side. And then if they haven't fallen off yet, when you roll to your side, they may surely fall off. And roll to one side and then come up to a comfortable seat. As we find our comfortable seat, I want you to see if it feels okay for you to close your eyes. You bring your hands to your knees. Notice all of the things we experience on our yoga adventure today. All the things from nature, all the things that we may see this spring. And bringing a hand to our heart. Both hands to our heart. From one hand to our heart and our belly. Just remembering that we have all this strength within us to weather some difficult times, some storms, to find the sunshine, to make those rainbows, to find ways for ourselves and our friends to have a reason to smile. And so I thank you, friends, for being here with me, Miss Lisa, One Tree Love. And I hope that you have a beautiful day even if there's a little bits of patches of storminess, may you be able to come back to this good feeling that you have now within inside of you. And may this feeling inside of you help to shine out to everyone. And so in yoga, we use a word that means that I honor that goodness, that light, that shining of you as you honor that in me. And so that word is namaste. So together we say namaste. So I thank you, friends, for being here with me and playing with Mr. Turtle and Miss Rabbit. And I hope to see your friends in the comments below.